my name is Anna Hellman, and today I have a beautiful stained glass technique to share with you that you can do with many of the stamp and die bundles that you already have in your collection. But I'll be showing this technique with some brand new products from our new Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. So let's take a look. So here's my first example of this stained glass technique. So instead of stamping on paper, what you do is you stamp on acetate window sheets. And then you can color in your images, die cut the areas out of your card front and insert those, and it just gives you this really, really pretty technique with a window that looks like stained glass. So I have two other examples I want to show you here, and I'll show you exactly how to create these. First, I'll quickly show you the products I use, and these are brand new from the new Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. This Nature's Harvest. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to create some more with this set because it is absolutely beautiful. I have the Great Tidings set, which is the one I used for the card I just showed you with the Wise Men. And this Bright Baubles set. You have to stick around to see this card. I use some really non-traditional colors on that Christmas card, so you'll want to take a look. So let me show you how to do this. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a piece of window sheet that is larger than the image you want to stamp with, and you're going to want to stamp onto it using your stamp apparatus. The reason for this is when you stamp onto that window sheet, here I'll pull in a piece. We're going to work with this in just a second. When you stamp onto that window sheet, and this is not in the same place from when I stamped it, but when you stamp onto it, it wants to move around because this is a glossy surface. So if you put it in your stamp apparatus, stamp on it, you're not going to have any of that wiggle and your image will not blur that way. So stamp onto it using StazOn ink, and that is very important. You need permanent ink. So our other Stampin' Up! Inks will not work for this. You need StazOn. So on one of mine, I used the black, and on two of them, I used the saddle brown. Now, after you have stamped, and I actually stamped onto it this way, then you are going to flip it over and color it with your Stampin' Blends alcohol markers. So I'll put this under so you can see a little bit better. And it is important you flip it over. If you don't flip it over, you are going to remove the ink that you just stamped onto it. And just color. Now, when we're doing this, we are not doing any blending. We are just coloring. Because if you try to blend, what is going to happen is when you put your second color on, it is basically just going to remove the first color that you put on. It doesn't work quite the same as it does with paper. Now, if you have not used the Stampin' Blends, or if you would like to learn some more about them, or just some techniques for alcohol markers in general, you'll want to check out my video that I put together on the Stampin' Blends markers. They're really fun. I am not someone who loves to color, and these markers have really, really changed that for me. So I flip my image over. I am coloring in the areas. The colors I'm using for this are Poppy Parade, Old Olive, and Cinnamon Cider. Now we'll let this dry for a few seconds. And in the meantime, let me bring in the rest of the pieces for this card, and we'll look at how to assemble this. Now, I have already done a lot of the other work on this card, but pretend like this is a Crumb Cake card front. I took my cone flower die that coordinates with this piece right here, and I ran it through my cut and emboss machine to cut that out. I have done a little bit of stamping. I added some of these other beautiful die cuts in the set that I cut from our copper and gold foil paper. Now, what we're going to do is flip this over, and I'm going to show you one technique now. I'm actually going to show you a second way for assembling these in just a second. So there are different ways you can do this. So you want to line it up the way it fits. So you may have to flip it back over from the way you colored it. Now I can see that my window sheet is wanting to hang off the edge over here. So I need to trim this side down a little bit. And once it is in the right place, it looks like I should have enough border around here that the window sheet will not show. After I attach that, I'm actually going to put another piece of crumb cake here just so that you don't see any of that. So looks like it is lined up well. I'm going to flip it over. I want to put my adhesive on the side that is going to cling to the card. So I'm going to flip this over. And you want some strong adhesive. I am using my Seal Plus, which works well. And I am going to try to do this way. I can see it a little bit better here with the white background. And I'm already seeing a little snafu with this card. One thing you have to remember with these cards, what I need is a white background here. Here we go. One thing with these cards is you have to remember you will see through the front. So when you stamp your image on the inside, or your greeting, I'm sorry, you don't want to put it behind your die cut hole unless you want it to show through there. So just kidding. I had this all planned out and then I start making my video and then I forget what I planned out. So we are fine. I got this attached in here and I had planned out, of course, to put this piece back behind here. You may notice I actually crumpled up the front of my card. I wanted this to have some texture and just look really natural. So I crumpled it up. So if you can see that it looks a little bit wrinkly, that's why. So I wanted to put a full piece back here to, one, help to flatten it back out and hold it straight. And then two, to cover up this window sheet in the back. So I will attach my adhesive here and just make sure none of it ends up in the window space. Now we'll attach this piece. Okay, so here you can see a little bit different example of this stained glass technique. So I'll bring back in the one I showed you first, and I'll show you how to do this one in a second. But with this one, you have that full window that you actually see through to the inside. Here you can see that you actually see through those. Now with this one, we created that stained glass, but then we put a piece behind it so that you're not seeing through all the way to the inside. So let me show you how to do this method. And this is the one I'm using that Bright Baubles set for, which is really fun with these big, beautiful Christmas ornaments. So I have some pieces prepped here, and we'll show you how to do this. Now, put this over the white so you can see how pretty that is. So I used some Highland Heather, Just Jade, and Magenta Madness markers on this one, and I thought that was fun for some non-traditional Christmas colors. So I stamped the black StazOn, I flipped it over, I colored this in. To prep my card front and this piece that will go on the front as well, what I did was I cut them to the sizes I wanted. Then I laid them on top of each other in the appropriate space so that the correct amount of the Highland Heather was showing on each side of my magenta. I laid the die on top of both of them and I cranked this through the machine just like this so that it would cut through both layers at the same time and so that they will be lined up properly. Okay, now what we're going to do on this one is actually attach this piece on top of the card base. So I'll put some adhesive on the corners here. Line this up so it's centered with the die cut spot. Now this is already prepped. I will just remove the paper backing from my dimensionals. Now I embossed this one with the hammered metal embossing folder. With this method, I decided I wanted something on the fronts, so I decided to emboss both of these pieces. This one I used, this is a new one as well, Time Worn Type, which I think looks really neat. If you look really close, you can make out a few letters and words, but they're really just distressed. So sometimes I have a hard time picking out embossing folders because I want really subtle ones that don't take away from my project at all. And that Time Worn Type one, that will be a great one for a lot of projects. On this one, I actually selected this hammered metal one because I thought it looked a little bit like broken glass also. Okay, so this one, we put the window sheet on top, put our mat on the front, and we see all the way through. So on this one, you can see I put my greetings and my stamps on the inside where they will not show through there. Same thing on this one. I put my greeting and the star up here at the top. So I hope this is something you will try at home. Hope it gives you a few ideas for some of these brand new products. Ordering opened on August 3rd for these holiday products. If you would like to see a catalog, please let me know. Thanks so much to those of you who shop with me and order your Stampin' Up! Supplies through me. And if I can help you with anything, please let me know. You can find links to the products I used today in the video description below, as well as lots of other information. Hope you'll subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again next time.